Hello everyone. In this tutorial we will explore the coordinator design pattern in Swift by creating a sample project here. What is a coordinator design pattern? Basically, the coordinator design pattern allows us to control the flow of our apps and avoid putting navigation logic directly into the controllers. Basically, what we will do, let's say we are navigating from one screen to another, and we are putting the navigation logic in our view controller, right? So what basically coordinator pattern do, it separates the navigation logic to a separate class, right? So basically it helps us to isolate the view controllers from each other, and we can use it, reuse them across our projects, right? So yeah, so let's create a new project here. Now let's create new Xcode project. Select single view app and give a name of coordinator design pattern Swift. Let's create it. Now go to the storyboard here. Let's create, remove this class, we won't be using it. Now let's create three view controllers here. Now we have one. Now let's add another one. That's the second. Let's put another one. So we have three view controllers here, and now create three classes for this view controllers. Let's give it a name of first view controller. Create another view controller class. Second view controller. Now the last view controller here. Okay, I think I put it in a wrong directory, so this might create some issue later, so remove this class. Second view controller. Then the last one, third view controller. So we created first, second and third view controller, right? So now go to the main storyboard. Now here for the first view controller, assign this view controller class. Give it first view controller and set storyboard ID. Similarly to the second view controller, storyboard ID as second view controller. Same goes with the third one. Right, so we have created three separate classes, separate view controllers, and assigned them classes, right? So what we will do now, we will start implementing uh, the coordinator protocol, right? So, and then all our coordinators, basically the view controllers, and then every view controller will have the coordinator class, right? So I will do all these in later on. So let's create first the coordinator protocol. Here, create another class, give it a name of Swift, create a Swift file. Then we will basically give it a name of coordinator. Right, now let's implement the coordinator protocol, which all coordinators will confirm to that protocol, right? So import UI kit, then protocol coordinator function start, then function coordinate to. Then we will create extension coordinator, then function coordinate to coordinator. And it won't return anything, so remove this, then coordinator dot start. Okay, save this file. What basically we are doing, we are creating a protocol of coordinator, right? The first function would be the start coordinator. Whenever a view controller starts, so basically the coordinator will create a navigation with view control, right? First, basically the start function would be responsible uh, to start the view control, right? Then coordinate function, this its responsibility is to navigate to the other view controller. Now we will create app coordinator. Okay, so app coordinator responsibility would be starting our app. So let's create another class, Swift class, name of app coordinator. Now let's implement import UI kit, key, then class app coordinator, let window into UI window, simply init window UI window, then self dot window equals window. Okay, then function start. Since we are implementing the coordinator class, so we have function start here. Now let's implement it. Let navigation controller equals UI navigation controller, then window dot root view controller is equals to navigation controller. Okay, then window dot make key visible, then okay, so we have this. Okay, let's build this class. Okay, we need to add, let's wait a second. Let first coordinator view controller coordinate equals first view control, first give it a name of first VC coordinator. I will create, we need to create this class. Let's just hang a second. Okay, then coordinate to start first coordinator. Well, okay, now as I told you earlier that every view controller will have its coordinator, right? So now we need to create first view controller coordinator, then we will create second view controller coordinator similarly with the third view controller coordinator. So let's do that. Now we will create first view controller coordinator. Okay, now create another class here. Give it a name of create what we are doing. We were creating first view controller coordinator, so give it a name of first VC coordinator. Create this one. Okay, so let's import UI kit. Basically, every view controller will have the coordinator class whose responsibility would be to start the view controller, then handle all the navigations of that view controller, right? So now protocol, create a protocol with the name of first VC flow class, right? So this protocol uh, we will handle all the navigations. Let's say from this view controller we will navigate to the second view controller, right? So we will create a function, a protocol function of coordinate to second VC. Now every view controller, now the first view controller will implement this coordinate to second VC. So here create class first VC coordinator, first VC coordinator, then it will implement the coordinator and third VC flow. Now let navigation controller equals to UI navigation controller. Okay, yes, we will implement that. Here we'll do init navigation controller, UI navigation controller, then self dot navigation controller equals to navigation controller function. We will implement this coordinator protocols. So we have this start function here, and here we will implementing the logic for navigation, for navigating, for starting this view control, right? So here, and the start function will have the responsibility to start first VC. So storyboard bundle equals bundle dot main, then let story is equals to UI storyboard, name is main, then bundle storyboard bundle, then we have let first VC equals storyboard dot instantiate view controller with identifier first is what is first view controller first view controller, then here inside this first view controller we need this coordinator object. So what we will do, we will create a variable for the coordinator, right? So variable coordinator first VC flow. So we will implement here the, what you can say, the logic to navigate to the second VC, right? So go back to the was it first VC coordinator, coordinator is equals to self navigation controller dot push view controller. Here first VC true. Now we will implement the coordinate second VC. Let here we will implement navigation for second VC coordinator, right? Now we need to start our apps, right? So we need this first VC coordinator in our app delegate. Let's add this up. Okay, now go to the app delegate class. Now we will call this. Now we need to start the view controller, first view controller here. So what we will do, we will create a variable window, UI window, variable coordinator app coordinator, and its responsibility, the app coordinator's responsibility is to start our app, the first screen, to start the first screen, right? So here window equals UI window, and coordinator was app coordinator to window, right? Then coordinator dot start. Good. If you look into the app coordinator class, you will see the start view controller here. What we are doing, we are setting window navigation view controller to the root view controller. Then we are navigating to the first PC. So the in app delegate we are switching to the first PC class. Uh, Now we need to implement the same in the scene delegate as well. First is coordinator. Add that as well. Let's fix couple of issues here. Go to the scene delegate. Okay, where is, that's the scene delegate here. Then implement variable coordinator coordinator will connect to the session function of scene class inside this guard. Let this code self dot window equals UI window frame windows scene frame window Okay. Uh, Here, give it a name of window scene. Right. Then here, window scene dot coordinator space dot bounds. Then dot window scene plus window scene coordinator coordinator to window coordinator dot start. Okay. Okay, now let's run this project. But before we run, we need to do something. We need to remove this entry point initial view controller here. Just uncheck that so that it will run from the app delegate and scene delegate. Give some colors so that we can distinguish. Uh, so we have this three view controllers here, and what we will do, let's add a button here. Button here. Give a constraint of center horizontal and vertical, and similarly give button here as well, and gives constraint to center horizontal and vertical. Okay, now let's connect these buttons to our class. Okay, then first view controller, navigate to second VC. Okay, let's create action here. Action. Similarly, here now open the second VC. Now let's create the IB outlet for second VC button as well. Okay, second. Okay, close this, and now if I run my project here, let's see what happens. It will not, I don't know why it's taking some time here, so let's wait. you can see we got the first view controller. Right now let's start. Uh, Now let's navigate to the second VC. Now go to the first VC here, and we have this coordinator of our first VC flow. Now let's say if I click on coordinator dot navigate to second VC. Okay, so now what we need to do, we need to create the coordinator class for second VC as well. So let's create that. Now create a new file here. Give it a name of second VC coordinator. Now let's start implementation for the second VC coordinator. Here you create a class, then second VC coordinator. It will implement inherit coordinator class. Then okay, now here let navigation controller UI, let's import UI kit, UI navigation controller, then init navigation controller, UI navigation controller. Okay, self dot navigation controller is equals to navigation controller. Let's implement the start function, which is from the protocol here, coordinator protocol. So let storyboard bundle equals to bundle dot main. Let storyboard equals UI storyboard. Create view controller. Okay, sorry, storyboard, name of name storyboard bundle, right, second VC instantiate view controller with identifier of second view controller, second okay. Now go to the second okay, now go to the second view controller here. Okay, where we go, second VC coordinator. Now let's implement navigation controller dot push view controller, second VC equals to. Now as you can see, we are getting Okay, let's leave it empty here. Then in second VC coordinator we have this here. Then go to the first VC coordinator. Now here, now we need to navigate to the second VC coordinate, right? So let's do that. And if I go to the first view controller, we have a coordinator first VC flow, then coordinate to second VC, right? So now let's implement the navigation logic to navigate to the second VC. Let second coordinator equals to second VC coordinator into UI. Controller, navigation controller, then to second coordinator. If I run my project, okay, let's add a debugger here, and then we see, okay, okay. It was some a silly mistake here. Go to the coordinator class. As you know, we have implemented the default implementation for this coordinate, and you can see we are getting this an error here. So we want that is asking us to implement the protocol steps, right? We already implemented the optional method here. So what was the mistake in the protocol? The spelling of coordinate is COOR, and here I forget to add the R here. So now if I run my project, I need to update all the spellings here. That's why I was thinking why I'm getting this error. I already implemented the optional method here, and why it's asking me to implement the protocol step. So the issue was with the spelling here. So now if I go to the first coordinator, here we have second VC. Now if I run my project here, it should navigate me to the second VC. Okay, okay, you can see we are navigated to the second VC, right? Okay, now what we did in this coded design pattern? We created two view controllers here. The first VC first view controller, then second view controller. What coordinator design pattern do? It separate the navigation logic to another separate class so that it can be reusable, right? So let's say uh, what we will do, we will what we created app coordinator class, coordinator protocol, and whatever class implements inherit this coordinator class, it first implement the start coordinator, which is the default implement, which is the uh, you must have to implement the start method, then coordinate, which is the optional. That's why we have given here the default implementation, right? So whenever uh, a so we have first view controller and it has the first VC coordinator class, right? So we have the start function responsibility is to initialize the first view controller. So it initializes us with the start method. Then uh, then let's say we need to navigate to the different screens. We will implement the protocol, all protocol methods that responsibility would be to navigate to other classes, right? So for so in this first VC coordinator we will be navigating to coordinate to second VC. So we have implemented this function which responsibility is to navigation to the second VC, and for every view controller we have the coordinator class. So we have this second VC coordinator here, and here on the start method it initializes the second view controller, and from the second view controller we are not navigating to another classes. So here we have not implement the protocol steps, protocol methods to navigation to second class.